Alright guys, welcome back. CFP here with Survival Living. Today I've been pushing this video back for a while, and today I want to get into it. I want to do the fishing traps, survival fishing poles, survival fishing traps that really everyone should know how to do. I'm not saying you already know how. There are some videos on YouTube with the same information. I just decided to kind of put it all together for everybody. One of the first things I want to go over is our minnow trap. Alright, this is one that we purchased from Amazon a little while ago. I don't know, probably 6 months ago, something like that. I used these as a kid growing up. These things work great for crawfish. Okay, I never really caught minnows out of this thing. Crawfish, if you like eating crawfish, this is your ticket right here. Now, I'm just showing you this one here because I'm going to show you how to make them without all the fancy stuff. Alright, so basically just two containers with a funnel turned to the inside. Alright, and you see that funnel goes in. Basically the critter goes up into the funnel, he drops in through the opening, and he falls down inside. Alright, now with this other end enclosed on there, 99 times out of 100 he's not going to get his way back out of this little tiny hole here. Alright, he's in here for good. These things work great. I've never had any failures with these things. They've always worked very well. Now these ones here are very simple to put back together. They got little eyelets on the ends that you hook up together. Make sure I turn it the right way. And then it comes with a little clip that you clip it in place, lock it down, and that's where you'll tie your rope to and submerge it in the water. These I like because, I mean, they're lightweight, but they're heavy enough and the water is able to flow through them so they don't get dragged through the currents and stuff like that. My experience, my best luck I've ever had with these is in creeks and rivers. Alright, now lakes and ponds, yes, I have caught a lot of crawfish with these, but I've also caught a lot of water moccasins. So keep that in mind. Alright, I believe that because of the creeks and rivers, the current's moving enough where the moccasins, other snakes, are not getting in this thing. Also, if you have it in a location that's not fully submerged, you're going to wind up with frogs, snakes. I don't like snakes. Alright, so one of the things I want to show you guys, you can make these with 2-liter bottles. Alright, now these things do not last or work as effective as this right here. And one thing, the sheer volume. These are not vented. Alright, so when they're submerged in water, once they fill up with water, yeah, they will sink down to the bottom. You can tie off one. I'm going to show you how. But because of the mass of it, it does get moved around in the waters. This here would work great in lakes and ponds. I don't really recommend it for creeks and riverbeds, but I'm going to show you it anyway because, as we know, humans have polluted the world. I've been in the middle of nowhere and find trash. Okay, I mean 100 miles from a city, out deep in the woods, nothing around, and I still found trash. So let's go ahead and show you this guy. First thing, I'm going to get rid of the label and show you how to make one of these into similar like this. Alright, we're actually going to only make it like halfway. Alright, safety first. Sharp object. First thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and remove this label. Get rid of that. And yes guys, I hate to say it, 2-liter bottles, all kind of trash is everywhere. Alright, it's just the way it is. I wish people wouldn't dump trash everywhere, but it is what it is. Can't change it. Alright, now if you look at your 2-liter bottle, most of them have a ridge right here. Some don't, like the RC Cola one, it doesn't have a ridge, but you can kind of see where it starts to flatten off. Alright, up top here, you want to go just a couple, about half an inch back. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you want some type of lip there. So we're going to go and cut this. I'm going to set it down on the table so I get a better cut. I just have to get my coffee out of the way. Alright, so carefully I cut back. There is a line I am following. Now if I'm careful, I can just rotate the bottle. Well, that's not coming out as straight as I would like, but it's really not going to hurt anything. Well, I missed that. Let's just pull it up like that. Okay. Let's see. I missed the cut there, but that's quite alright. Because what we're doing is we're going to flip this over and turn it into a reverse funnel. Not a reverse funnel, an actual funnel. Just like that. Alright. They go in, can't get out. So we've got our two pieces. Alright. We'll just cut the top off. We got the base. We're going to flip that top around and place it on the inside, just like that. Alright. Now I have seen others melt down the plastic and keep that piece in place, but then you're having to tear it all apart to get the crawfish to get in the bottom there. First thing I want to do is, though, I want to put a hole in the base of this very carefully. The reason I'm not using a drill, guys, is because I don't feel safe with that razor knife. I feel safe with this. The reason I'm not using a drill is because I want to be able to use materials that, you know, might have on hand. Hopefully you got on hand in your bug out bags and things like that. So okay, we've got our hole in the bottom. The reason why I've got a hole is because I'm going to attach this rope through the base here. Maybe. The tabletop here I had washed off for the video, and using a cloth rope threw on top of it and it soaked up all the water, so now it's not working very well with me. Alright, pull it through. Now I keep washers, things like that, in my bug out bags. If you don't have one, you can use a stick, okay? As a matter of fact, I was going to show a washer. Let me use a stick just to show you. I want to attach a line. I want to attach a line to this stick. That way the bottle does not go anywhere. Alright? I don't want to lose this bottle in a creek bed or anything like that, so I want to be able to attach something securely to it instead of just cutting slots and hope for the best. I want to actually get a good anchor in there. Alright, so I just use a bow line on it, pull that back through. Alright, so that is secured. Alright, I just use a small piece just to show y'all. That's what you're going to anchor this down to, so the current doesn't just take off with it. You anchor to a tree, to the coast, the shoreline, whatever. Alright, that way it stays anchored in position, doesn't go anywhere. Alright, so back to this part. Before you seal it up, put your bait in. Crawfish eats dead things. They also eat bread, believe it or not. If you happen to have some extra bread laying around, there you go. But in a survival situation, you're going to be using carcasses, things like that, things that are discarded that you can get hold of. I say that you happen to kill some bunch of insects, whatever, something that you can put live, you know, meat in here. Meat is the key. Alright, crawfish love to tear up meat. Alright, so we got our bait in and we seal that up. Now I've seen people melt this down. The only problem I have with that is that you have to tear it apart to reuse it, and you're only going to get a couple uses out of it doing that way. Hopefully you got duct tape. Alright, if you don't have duct tape, you can put small holes in the edge of this through both ends and tie a small knot on each one. That'll keep it safe too. But For today, we are using good old duct tape. Alright, so with the duct tape, since duct tape does so well with water, I just wrap around the edge. Alright, they don't have to have it all the way around all the edges. It just has to be there just to keep that piece of plastic in place so you don't lose it down the river. Alright, so that funnel is key to the whole trap. Okay guys, and that's it. Alright, let me grab the other one here. As you can see, there's a huge difference. This was a 2-liter bottle. Alright, actually, there we go. Same design, except shorter, and there's not another funnel on the other end. I have seen people use 2 2-liters and make a dual funnel. You can do that if you want to. I guess for current stuff, you could cut slits in this to help with the water. I wouldn't bother with that. I would just leave it just like this. On my trip down to Mexico, I talked about before when I was a train rider, I've used these before. I was near Lake Amistad. These right here work great. There was a lot of trash laying around. I made a couple of these and it kept me alive. Alright, it's not as nice as one of these. It won't last as long either, but it'll last long enough to keep you alive. So anyway guys, I want to take just a moment right fast. I want to thank Survival Preparedness for the Beginner. He is our first joined member to the channel. YouTube had given me the opportunity to have membership on the channel. I was really surprised when it happened. I actually did a community post about it. For those who don't know who Survival Preparedness for Beginners is, he does have his own YouTube channel. He's been with us for a few months now, guys. He's been very active in the community, real active in the community post, talking to everybody, always got some good information. He's just got finished, or actually still working in, he's got like 12 or 13 in the playlist right now on hurricane preparedness. Now I've touched bases from time to time on hurricanes. He's been going more in depth with it on hurricane preparedness on his channel, and I've got his little video up there, one of his videos playing in the background for you guys. So yeah, that's him there. He's been with us for a couple months now, so definitely go check him out, guys. No, I'm not just doing a shout out because he is one of the paid members of the channel. I've always done shout out, guys. I've always tried to help out other channels, other members of our community with shout outs to their channels. So that's not the only reason why I'm shouting him out. I don't want anybody to get conflicted and go, oh well, he's only going to shout people out if he's a paid member. No, y'all know me better than that. I've been doing shout outs for a very long time to other channels. Just now we have that option now on YouTube, and we are going to pursue that option. Alright, I went ahead and activated it and everything else. No, you don't have to be a member for me to talk to you on YouTube, okay? I still am part of the community. I still will be doing our live stream on Friday nights. What we're going to be doing though for the members is after the live stream on Friday nights, I will have a secondary live stream right afterwards that is just for the members. So that is one little perks on there. I'm still working on all the perks and stuff. There's going to be a lot more than just that, guys, but there'll be exclusive videos, things like that. But you know, we're just getting started on it. So the first step, we're going to start doing the members only live stream, and then we're going to grow from there. Definitely put in the comment section, guys, what you would like to see with that members only type of deal. Don't say members only jacket. Those things are, no, those are so 80s. Don't do that. But anyway, guys, let's get back to the video and we'll speak to y'all later. Alright guys, so the next one we're going to be going over is we kind of went over before with a spring snare. Same principle for a spring snare fishing pole. First thing I need to do is find some trigger material, and this sapling right here where the branch is coming off, this is going to work great. Alright, so I'm going to show you how to make the trigger for it, and we'll set the trap. We're going to use one of these trees, probably this one that's hanging overhead right now, as the fishing pole. Okay, now you can use a fixed position tree just like that, or you can actually just get you a piece of flexible material, either if you had a fishing rod or not, or just a tree branch sapling that's very bendable and will bounce back into position. That'll work just fine, because you need that or a tree or a bush to spring back into place once the tension is loosened on the trigger. So let's go ahead and show you how to make this. Alright, so one of the first things we did is that we went ahead and chopped the top part off, and then we cut this back right to here. Now this part of the stick is going to go into the ground. This is going to work as our base for our trigger. We're going to put a notch up in here, and then we're going to put a notch in this bottom section of this piece, probably right about here, and we're going to hook them up just like this with our notches interlocking. We're going to tie this off to our tree, and this is also going to be tied off to our fishing line that goes out to the water. That way when something grabs hold of it, it pops it, and the line pulls up and sets the hook. So let's go ahead and cut the notches out. So once we've got our notches cut out, we made them up, make sure that they lock into place very well. I like to take fire and harden these, because these are not hardened wood. This is still green. Using flame on it. Of course, you're not trying to burn it, you're just trying to singe it up really good, give it a harder casing on the inside, kind of seal up the life juices of the branch, I guess you could say. Just makes the wood harder. You don't have to sit there and cook it forever. I guess if you want to sit there and use coals and all that stuff, you can. I'm just showing you what works. Coals work just fine too. I guess if you don't have a lighter available in a survival situation, you just roll it in your fire pit for a while. Alright, you're just hardening that up. Alright, now with our trigger, we've got it tied off into the tree with this twine right here. Now we have our fishing line already hooked to it, okay? And I'm hung up in briars. Alright, so let's go and set this in place. Alright, so there it is. Now with your line in the water, of course you would have, I got a number 10 line on it right now. Your main rope for your trigger, you really want a heavy duty rope. I had twine on hand just to show you the video. So let's say that something is on your fishing line, okay, and it goes to tug it, alright. So when it goes to pull, it pop that trigger and it will set the hook. Oh, ew. So you have your line, just run out into the water. When something bites it, there it goes. It snaps and it will snag it, and it'll set your hook. So this one here works best for catfish, because catfish, when they get it, they really tug down pretty good on it. Brim also works, as long as you're using a small hook. So you don't have to have this weird L-shaped trigger. You can use the exact same trigger, just a straight trigger like I've done with the regular spring snares. You can do the exact same thing with this. I like to use the angled one. I can dig deeper with my set stick. So let's go ahead and go on to our next project, the Trotline. Alright guys, so next up is our Trotline. This one in particular, check your local laws. Alright, because I'm pretty sure it is illegal in most states. This is just for educational purposes. This is so that if you're in a survival situation, you know what to do. I have used these in the past. This is also another one of the traps, basic setups that I've used to survive as a freight train rider. When I was traveling all over the country, I lived off the land. Alright, now for a demonstration, we got it tied up on this tree up here, 1/2-inch rope, and I've got it shooting all the way down to this brush pile. Okay, since we are doing this stay-at-home type of deals right now, all this grass here, imagine as a riverbank. Okay, you're shooting across the riverbank. Now I have in the past tied a big rock to one end of the line. That's the base line for the trout line, and I've tossed it in the deepest part as I could in a pond, river, body of water that's got fish. Alright, Now you want to space your lines wide enough so that the current doesn't get them and get your lines tangled up. I'm going to show you how and demonstrate those right for you real quick. So I'm set down the camera and get to work. Alright guys, so let's say that these are our hook lines. Alright, like I said, we're using bright white rope here. Alright, see how I got these things spaced apart where they will not meet each other? That way when they are in the current, they do not get tangled up. I'll show you why here. I'm going to loosen this one off. Slide it down. Say you got your lines too tight, too close together, okay? Current picks up the lines. They get hold of them. They move around. Hooks match up. All that good stuff. And then you've got a knot on your trout line. No good. I mean, I've caught fish with a knotted up trout line before. But you want them separated, guys. You want these things apart enough from each line. That way they do not get tangled up. It gives you a better success rate. And that way, even when you get a fish on, because they move around too, you don't want your lines getting tangled up. Gives you a better chance. Now, I have strung these straight across a creek bed. And when I say creek bed, it's pretty good size. I'm talking 30 yards across. Alright, so technically a small river. And just get it low, get the main line low to the water, and then run all my lines down into the water. Now I've got this one tied off to a tree. I've tied them off to bushes before. I've staked them in the ground, had them right on the shoreline before, and ran them out. I've actually swam with the other end just as far as I could, drop a large rock attached to it just so it would sink. But you want it not too big of a rock, because when you go to check this line, you're actually pulling it all back up by hand, back to the shoreline. And each time you get to one of your fish hooks, you'll be able to find out if you got something or not. Drop it, pull the next line up. So that is the long-awaited video on our primitive fishing traps, okay? I have used every single one of these in the past, and they do work, all right? I have not had any of these fail. Like I said, many of y'all have been with the channel for a while. You know my history as a train rider. All right, I traveled all over the country, down to Mexico, parts of Canada. I survived off the land this entire time. All right, using traps like this, using other traps and snares to provide food. Now, I did try to carry as much food as possible, but you can only carry so much canned goods at one time. So these worked out very well. Hopefully, this was informative for you. Hopefully, it's what you're expecting on it. Anyway guys, you take care. Speak to y'all later.